What are you right? I don't want you to write. I want you to listen. Okay? You have seen all these before. I will refresh your minds. Okay? Today, we will insist on assuring the identification. Identify the structures and the possible practical exam questions. Okay? Okay. We'll start with the head and neck. First, on the lateral side, I have to identify the muscles of mastication. Okay? What do you have? This is the face. This is the area where the zygomatic arch was present. We have removed it. Above it, I have temporalis muscle. Final shape muscles converging, making an rectangle. Below the zygomatic arch, I have the masseter muscle. Quadrangular muscle over the ramus of the mandible. So, two muscles very clear. Up, I have temporalis. Down, I have masseter. Very good. This is the part remaining of the mandible. You see? Here, this was the mandible, and we have removed the ramus of the mandible here. So what I can see is the structures in the infratemporal fossa. We have removed the ramus, exposing, removing the zygomatic arch. I see deep to them. The muscle with fibers running parallel to the masseter. This is the medial trochoid muscle. And the lateral trochoid should exist in the upper part of this fossa, but usually it is lacerated, cutted. So you are asked only about the medial trochoid muscle. With two nerves lying over the muscle, two nerves. One anterior, one posterior. The anterior one will enter inside the mandible, the canal. I can see it enters inside the bone. This is inferior alveolar nerve. And so this is lingual nerve. Lingual and inferior alveolar. If one of them is entering the bone, it will be very easy. This one entering and running inside the bone would be the inferior alveolar. And this it's a continuation of it. And in front I have the lingual nerve. The lingual nerve is almost intact, complete, and running on the medial side of the mandible, so it will be complete running on the inner side of the mandible. Temporalis, masseter, medial trochoid, three of the four muscles, and two nerves. Inferior alveolar entering inside the bone, and the lingual nerve front. Okay? Okay. If I put this and put this, this is the mandible. Just below the mandible, I have the nice submandibular gland. Submandibular gland. Okay? This is the ear. This man is intact. In front of the ear and around the ear, I have the parotid tissue. This is tissue of the parotid gland. And this is a very nice dissection of the facial nerve. You can see it here, but you will not be asked about it. This is the facial nerve entering inside the parotid gland and divide its branch. You will not be asked about this. Forget this and let's look here. This is the ear. In front, below and behind. All this is the parotid gland. And this is the famous duct. Okay? Running transversely over the masseter muscle. Masseter temporalis, parotid gland, and this is the parotid duct. Below the mandible, here, this is the submandibular salivary gland. Two glands very important, parotid and submandibular. You are certainly here, you have so many practical exams before. As a rule, if I hold a muscle in the exam, I will ask usually about nerve supply or action. Okay? If I point to a gland like parotid or submandibular, I can ask so many questions. Everything could be asked about the two glands. Everything. Nerve supply, very important. Relations, very important. As regards the parotid, we can ask about the main structures inside or within. This is a very, very common question. Okay? Yes, main structures. Let's look from the medial side. This is the back. Okay. Somewhat good. Somewhat good. This is the medial side. This is the tongue. And this is the epiglottis behind the tongue. With the depression in between, the one called follicula. This is the dorsum of the tongue. If I point from here, from the side of the tongue, I mean the muscle, genioglossus muscle. One pen here, genioglossus. One pen here, this is the tongue, the organ of the tongue. Okay? Tongue is divided into oral and pharyngeal parts. The front is oral, the back is the pharyngeal part. Each of them is separate. I can usually ask in the tongue about the nerve supply. Tongue. What is this? Tongue. Give its nerve supply. You divide it into oral part, pharyngeal part, and ask, and it says the nerve supply, sensory supply, motor supply, and taste. If I said give the nerve supply of this part, you will say this is the oral part only, and you will speak about the oral part only. Okay? Above we have the palate, hard palate, and soft palate. The hard, the bone skeleton, soft, there is no bones. This is bad one. As regards the palate, this is the palate, hard palate, and this is the soft palate on the back. This is a better view for the palate, yes. Hard palate in the front, soft palate, I can move it. There is no bone inside. Okay? Okay. Yes. Usually from the soft palate, I have to fold this going down. Palatoglossal fold and palatopharyngeal fold with the palatine tones in between. Will not ask you about except they are very clear. I can see two folds and a pressure in between. The one in the front, palatoglossal, the one on the back, palatopharyngeal, and this palatine tones. Again. You see the organ on the tongue? You see the palate? From the soft palate downwards. Two folds, V-shape. The tongue, palatoglossal, the pharynx, palatopharyngeal, and in between I have the depression. The tonsil should exist in this depression. It's called tonsillar fossa. You got this? Again. It's not so clear here. I have to pull the tongue down. You see, I have mucosal fold. Palatoglossal. The one on the back, this one, palatopharyngeal. And in between, tonsillar fossa. If the palatine tonsil exists, it will exist here. Okay? Okay. So we have took the palate, tongue, the area of the oropharynx, and this is the larynx. We have took the larynx four. The glottis, cavity of the larynx, and going downwards in the respiratory system. You have forgot. Okay. The area outside the larynx, this area here is important because this is piriformis fossa. Epiglottis. Area epiglottic fold. This is the cavity of the larynx here. This area and going down. Outside it, lateral to it, and the pharynx, this is piriformis fossa. Piriformis fossa. Because this, okay, I will remove this. It's a very nice specimen. And this is her sister. Yes. Okay. Usually bring part of the esophagus, maybe short like this, maybe very clear and long like this, connected to the stomach, and the stomach end with the sphincter, with the pyloric sphincter, so that the duodenum first part will start. Okay? If I put it on me, esophagus is up. This is the lateral curvature of the stomach, to the right side. The lateral curvature will be to the left side, and the pylorus is down. If I put it on me, it would be like this. Okay? What is this? Esophagus. Very nice. Cardiac end of the stomach. This is the anterior surface of the stomach, and this is the posterior surface of the stomach. I can mark this and ask you, identify the organ, stomach, the pointed area, posterior surface, and the relations of the posterior surface, what is known as the stomach height. Okay. This is the pyloric sphincter. Can you feel it? Who will a glove here? No one. It's very hard. Feel it here. Feel up and down. Yes, very, very obvious difference. Hard. The area of the sphincter is hardened. There is a marked thickening of the circular muscle in this area, so it will be hard. Yes, the sphincter. How to identify the sphincter in the living? By constriction from the outside, by feeling its hardness, and usually in the living there will be a vein crossing like this, what's called a prepyloric vein. Okay? Okay. What is this?
It's a curvature.
Give the peritoneal fold related
Solamente.
contents. A very common question. Part of the content, we have many contents, you will not be asked all about them. Okay, but do not forget the contents in the free margin. Three contents very famous. Common bile duct, hepatic artery, and portal vein. Do not forget them. Okay? So I can point to the lateral curvature and ask you the vessels related or the peritoneal fold related. The same applicable to the other side. What is this? Lateral curvature. I can pin it and ask you peritoneal fold related? Retromental. Contents. First, I will start by the vessels running over here. The gastroepiploic vessels, right and left side. Okay? So it's very nice. Stomach, esophagus, cardiac end, pyloric sphincter. This is the area called the fundus. And on me, this is the anterior surface, and this is the posterior surface. Not forget. Cardia, pylorus, anterior surface, posterior surface, lateral curvature, lateral curvature. You can ask questions all about this. Because this stomach is a nice, easy question. I will leave this. What is this?
Pancreas.
It was like this. Fit. Yes. I know it from the pancreas. This is the tissue of the pancreas. The one with the pen inside. Yes. Whitish tissue, this is the tissue of the pancreas. Surrounded by part of the small intestine, so this is duodenum. Duodenum, first part, second part, third part, fourth part, and become continuous with the remaining of the small intestine, jejunum. Okay? So this is the head of the pancreas here, the body, and we continue with the tail. Again, you see, this is a viscera with a lumen. Part of the small intestine surround the gland. So the gland is the pancreas, and this is the duodenum. I will put it on me. The posterior surface is flat, smooth, with the vein inside it. Vein right adherent on the back of the pancreas, you see? So big, the splenic vein. I have two veins adherent to the pancreas. The one adherent is running inside the cells is splenic vein. I have splenic and left renal running like this. Okay, so this is the back, the dorsal, flat, rest on me, on my wood. So this is first part of the renal, second part of the renal, side part. Pancreas is always like this and directed to the left. The remaining of the body and tail is going to the left. Okay? It's not complicated. We'll ask you pancreas head, pancreas body is very enough. Okay, and renal, any part could be asked about it. Always be ready with the vessels related to the pancreas. We have so many vessels related to the pancreas. Its arterial supply is very important. Okay? We have so many vessels. Behind the head, I have what? Very clever with two renal veins entering. And near to it, we have the aorta with superior mesenteric artery originating. Behind the neck, I have the beginning of the portal vein, the formation of the portal vein, splenic and superior mesenteric. All these are vesilated. Running behind the body, I have the splenic vein and superior mesenteric veins. Okay? Left renal vein, splenic and left renal veins. So you have to be ready with not all the relation, but mainly the vessels related to the pancreas and its arterial supply. Okay, you got this? Okay. Again, this is a specimen for this pancreas. Do you agree? Yes, this is the head. This is renum. Renum is opened here. You see you the plica circularis inside. It's the same. The same. What is this? This is part of the large intestine. I can see the foldings, the alterations. I can see this, what is called appendages of Blocky. Got this? Appendages of Blocky, yes, the peritoneal folds, projections, I can see. And if I get concentrated with the wall, I can see the longitudinal line. This is one of the tinea coli. So this is part of the wall of a large intestine. Entering to it, part of the wall of the small intestine. This is the ileum. So this is the area of the ileocecal junction. Ileum is like this on me. You got this? It will end on the cecum here, so this is the cecum. And this is ascending colon. And they can ask about the cecum. Arterial supply of the cecum is important relations with the cecum of the colon. Okay? And if this is the ileocecal junction, usually if I have the appendix is still present, I can ask about it. But here it is rudimentary. It will not be with this. Usually it is about 8 or 10 centimeters. I have the appendix here. Okay? You can ask about the positions of the appendix, arterial supply of the appendix. Okay? Ileum, cecum, ascending colon, cecum, anterior surface or posterior surface, posterior relations and arterial supply. Area of the appendix, positions of the appendix, arterial supply of the appendix, and surface anatomy of the base of the appendix. What is called the McBurney point. This is very important. You got this? Very nice. I'll give you 1 minute rest and return again to speak about this.
Okay, I will give you a very big space after I finish 25. Okay, let's begin with the easy ones. Okay, there is left the liver from the viscera, and the anterior and the posterior abdominal walls, right? Okay, first of all, let's begin with the easy one, the anterior abdominal wall. We are concerned with I don't know what is this specimen. Anyway, we are concerned mainly with the 3 muscles of the anterior abdominal wall, which are the 2 obliques and transversus abdominis. in order from superficial to deep. External oblique, internal oblique, transverse abdominis. The main hallmark of these three muscles is the direction of the fibers. External oblique, internal oblique, transverse abdominis. The external oblique, like you put your hands in your pocket. Downwards, forwards, and medially. The internal oblique, the reverse. Upwards, forwards, and medially. And lastly, the transverse abdominis will be in a transverse direction. Okay, let's see here. From superficial to deep, there is one layer. And here's another layer, and here's the third layer. The first layer, downwards, forwards, and medially. And an oblique. I will elevate it, the reverse of the direction. Upwards, and forwards, and medially. And lastly, the direction will be shifted to transverse direction. So this is the transversus abdominis. Here are the three layers: external oblique, internal oblique, and lastly transversus abdominis. Of course, in the midline there is two muscles which are the two recti, the rectus abdominis. Of course, the rectus abdominis and the rectus sheath, it doesn't come regularly in the exam due to the lack of the specimen. But the most important are the three layers, okay? The external, internal, and transversus abdominis. That's what concerns the anterior abdominal wall. If, and I insist on the word if, the rectus abdominis comes in the exam. Oh, okay, here it is. If the rectus abdominis comes in the exam, as you can see here, here is the muscle fiber, and here is the posterior lamina, and the anterior lamina is adherent to the muscle, as you can see here. Here is the anterior lamina, very adherent to the muscle. And here is the muscle layer, and here is the posterior lamina, like this. So these two layers are the layers of the rectus sheath, and inside is the rectus abdominis. The most important, the most common question is the contents of the rectus sheath, which is mainly two muscles, two sets of nerves, and two vessels. Rectus abdominis muscle and the pyramidalis. These two muscles. And the superior and the inferior, the gastric vessels, and the last five intercostal nerves and the subcostal nerve. These are the main contents of the rectus sheath and the rectus abdominis in between. Here they are. Okay? And this is a very rare question, and including also the anterior abdominal wall, this is the rare question in the practical exam. This is what concerns the anterior abdominal wall. Concerning the posterior abdominal wall, we have three muscles and main three nerves. Okay? There are many nerves, but I'm concerned with three nerves concerning the practical exam. The three muscles. First of all, what is this? This is the vertebral column. On either side of the vertebral column, there is a very famous muscle which is the psoas major. When I shift laterally to the psoas major, there are two muscles. One found above and one found below. The one above is the quadratus lumborum, and the one which is found below is the iliacus muscle. So the psoas major lies directly lateral to the vertebral column, and then laterally I will have two muscles. Above there is quadratus lumborum, and downwards there is the iliacus muscle. These are three muscles of the posterior abdominal wall, and then I need to differentiate between three main nerves. Of course, the nerves in the posterior abdominal wall include subcostal nerve, iliohypogastric, ilioinguinal, lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh, genitofemoral, femoral nerve, and obturator nerve. There are main seven nerves. I'm concerned with only three. One from all are related to the psoas major. One from the anterior surface, genitofemoral. One on the lateral surface, femoral. One on the medial surface, obturator. These are the main three. But we are not concerned mainly with the rest of the four nerves. Okay. On the anterior aspects of the muscle, and as you can see, is emerging from the anterior surface of the muscle. This is the genitofemoral nerve. And by the way, what is this? This is the psoas minor muscle. The psoas minor. Here is the flesh and here is the tendon. All of this is the psoas major, while this very thin muscle is the psoas minor. And so this nerve, which is piercing the psoas major, is the Genitofemoral. And then I will seek for a very big trunk that is emerging lateral to the muscle. So it will be the femoral nerve. And then I will search for another nerve, but it is medial to the muscle, which will be obturator nerve. You can see the difference between these two. One is lateral and one is medial. So this is the femoral nerve and this is obturator nerve, and on the anterior aspect there is the genitofemoral. Okay? So 3 muscles in the anterior abdominal wall, 3 muscles in the posterior abdominal wall, and 3 nerves related to the psoas space. This what concerns the abdominal walls, anterior and posterior and the nerves. Lastly, in the walls, I will identify the major vessels of the anterior of the abdomen, which are the main blood supply or the arterial supply is the abdominal aorta, and it has main 3 branches from the anterior aspect: celiac trunk, superior and inferior mesenterics. And always remember, the celiac trunk and the superior mesenteric artery are close to each other, while the inferior mesenteric is very far. Why?
Because
Due to the vertebral level. We have the celiac trunk, the superior mesenteric on the upper and the lower border of L1, while the inferior mesenteric L3. So always, when we identify, here is the celiac trunk, and here is the superior mesenteric. I think the relation between them are very close. While this is the inferior mesenteric, you can see the difference between the positions. The celiac trunk and the superior mesenteric are close to each other because they are on the upper and the lower border of L1, while the inferior mesenteric is very low, very far from them because it is on the level of L3. So this is the abdominal aorta, and here are the 2 bifurcation, the 2 common iliacs at the level of L4, right? And here is the celiac trunk, superior mesenteric artery, inferior mesenteric artery. And of course, the superior mesenteric artery, the celiac trunk gives main 3 arteries. Extreme to the left, splenic, to the left. Extreme to the right, the common hepatic, and in the middle, the left gastric, the smallest one. The superior mesenteric supplies from the half of the second part of the duodenum until, and will give the whole small intestine, ileocecal junction, ascending colon, and the right 2/3 of the transverse colon. And from the left 1/3 of the transverse colon till the anal canal will be responsibility of the mesenteric. So from this we can pick the branches. So sometimes he picks the superior mesenteric, this is very rare, but sometimes he picks the superior mesenteric artery, and he will ask about 2 branches. I can, from the supply, I can guess the branches. We said that it gives the duodenum and the jejunum and ileum. Okay, so for example, I can say jejunal branches, ileal branches, and the inferior pancreaticoduodenum, for example. Okay, and I can say, for example, the ileocolic, because it gives the ileocecal junction, so the ileocolic. So I can guess the branches from the area supply. But of course, the arteries, it doesn't come regularly in the exam. The aorta itself comes very regularly in the exam because it has many questions on it. The branches, the level of beginning, level of termination. What is the level of beginning, by the way? A T?
12.
No, not T10. T12 is the last one to enter the abdomen. The first one to enter to exit the abdomen, inferior vena cava at T8. In between, esophagus T10, and lastly, the abdominal aorta at T12. And the level of bifurcation is at L4, and the level of beginning of inferior vena cava, L5. Okay? Okay, the inferior vena cava is eaten here, and also here. Okay, don't worry. We will see the inferior vena cava in another specimen. The inferior vena cava, the most important questions we said: the beginning and termination. Beginning at L5 by the joining of the 2 common iliac veins, and the termination by exit in the central tendon of the diaphragm at level of T8. And by the way, the inferior vena cava has the same tributaries on either side, except in 2 veins. The left suprarenal and the left gonadal. They do not tribute in the inferior vena cava. They drain into the left renal. This is the difference between the right side and the left side. On the right side, the right suprarenal and the right gonadal drains into the inferior vena cava directly, while on the left side they drain into the left renal. This is a very important question concerning the exam. Sorry? The left gonadal and left suprarenal. Okay? Both these veins drains on the left side and the left renal, not directly in the inferior vena cava. Okay? So always remember the 3 anterior abdominal walls, the 3 posterior, the 3 nerves, and the 3 branches of the abdominal aorta. And the important questions on the abdominal aorta itself: level of beginning, level of termination, and the branches. And when you study the branches, please divide them into anterior branches and paired lateral branches and posterior branches to be easy in study. Okay? Okay, that's what concerns the walls. Anyone needs anything in the walls?
Doctor,
Very easy. Okay.
what question can be asked about the nerve?
Sorry?
What question can be asked for the nerve?
On the nerve, the root values. Very important, the root values. Okay? But by the way, rarely the nerves comes with the exam because the obturator and the femoral and the genitofemoral are concerned with the lower limb. The femoral, especially the femoral and the obturator. So which muscles are supplying and the course and the relations, they are concerned in the first year. So rarely it comes concerning the third year, but sometimes it comes as an identification. If a question is said, it always comes through the root value. Okay? Okay. The other? No. We discussed it during the section just for you. But concerning the exam, you don't have to differentiate between the subcostal and the iliohypogastric and inguinal, just the main 3, genitofemoral, femoral, and obturator. Okay, guys? Okay. Does anyone needs anything in the walls? 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, the rule of 3. Okay? Okay. Let's jump now to the liver. Okay. The liver, by the way, we consider it the largest visceral organ in the body. It's not the largest organ. Why?
Skin.
Exactly. The skin is the largest organ in the body. But the liver is the largest visceral organ. It weighs about 1.5 kilos. About. Okay? So when you buy a tomato from the market and it weighs about 1.5 kilos, always remember that this 1.5 kilos is the weight of the liver. Okay? Okay. Of course, this is a very big liver. Of course, this is smaller liver, and I think it is more logic that this is the normal size of the liver. Okay. Okay. Anatomically, not surgically, and not structurally, the liver is divided into a small left lobe and a very big right lobe. This is anatomically. And this anatomical division depends on 3 ligaments. From the anterior aspect, we have the falciform ligament, and from posterior, we have ligamentum venosum, and inferiorly, we have ligamentum teres. These 3 ligaments makes a belt, and this belt separates between the small left lobe and the very big right lobe. But according to the blood supply and surgically, we divide the liver into 2 equal halves. The left lobe, I will add to it 2 small lobes, the caudate and the quadrate lobe. And so these 2 lobes, I will add them to the left lobe, so the division will be equal, left lobe and right lobe. And this division, or this new classification, is according to the blood supply. Because in the old years, when they made a transplant for the liver, of course there is no a whole liver transplant. But when a donor gives a part of his liver, always they began to take the small lobe, which is the left lobe. They eventually see a very, very vigorous bleeding when they cut this left lobe. Why? Because this is only an anatomical division. But surgically, according to the blood supply is divided at the level of the inferior vena cava here. And so they began to make a new classification for the lobes of the liver by an equal right and equal left. Okay, let's take the big one. Here is the falciform, and here is the groove for the ligamentum venosum, and here is the ligamentum teres. So this is the small left lobe, and this is the big right lobe. The first, most important identification. Has anyone a pen? He is not going to use it again? A pen or a pencil that you are not going to use again. Okay, no one is going to use his pen. Okay. The most important structure is this. Okay. Yeah. This is the groove. By the way, this is not the groove. This is the inferior vena cava itself. Okay? My finger here in the inferior vena cava itself. As you can see here, that the inferior vena cava is not making an impression on the liver. It is buried inside the liver, inside the matter of the liver. It is almost piercing the liver. And so, as this inferior vena cava passes through the liver, of course, is this the position of the inferior vena cava in the body? No, it is upright. So, the position of the inferior vena cava made the liver incline, not like this, but like this. So, we have anterior, superior, posterior, inferior, and right lateral surface. Sorry? Again, okay. This inferior vena cava is not inclined like this. It is upright like this. And so this position made the liver has an anterior, superior, right lateral, posterior, and inferior surface. The anterior and superior and right lateral has the same relations almost. The anterior abdominal wall, the diaphragm, the costal cartilages, the ribs. But the superior surface has extra, the base of the lung, the pleura, the pericardium. This is added to the superior surface. But the anterior, the right lateral, anterior abdominal wall, the ribs, and the diaphragm. Then let's jump to the posterior and the inferior surfaces. Here is the impressions is important. Okay, let's say the story. Of course, this is the left lobe and this is the right lobe. Okay, so this is the left side and this is the right side. From the left side above, I will have a tube, which is the esophagus. So on the posterior surface, the first thing is the esophagus. And then after the esophagus, there is the stomach. So this is the gastric impression. And then on the quadrate lobe, I will find the gastro-duodenal junction. And then, of course, the duodenum will descend downwards. So this is the second part of the duodenum. And as there is a small intestine, of course, there is a large intestine. So this is the right colic flexure. And above the colic flexure, there is a very big impression here, which will be the renal impression or the impression of the right kidney. And lastly, I will have on the posterior surface the right suprarenal. As you can see, I drew a U-shaped structure. Esophagus, stomach, gastroduodenal, second part, right colic flexure, right kidney, right suprarenal. And of course, as you can see, the esophagus and the suprarenal are on the posterior surface, while the stomach, gastroduodenal, right colic flexure, the kidney on the inferior surface. Okay? And by the way, very important question here. We said that this is the inferior vena cava. This is the base of an area, we call it the bare area of the liver. This is the base, and I will have two limbs here, the upper and the lower coronary ligaments, and it ends with the right triangular ligament. And this area, which is the bare area of the liver, is related to what? To right suprarenal. Okay? So when he picks the bare area of the liver, he will ask, what is this? I'll identify the pointed structure. This is the bare area of the liver. Name the structure related. That will be the right suprarenal. هيك. دي posterior ودي anterior. اهو maybe.
ايوه هي دي. عايزها؟
لا دي خلصت خلاص. Okay guys, let's continue. Okay, so the bare area is related to the right suprarenal. Okay. I will point and you will say.
Esophagus. Superior.
Gastroduodenal junction. Cardiac flexion. Stomach gastric impression. Okay, very good. Okay, we said that this lobe is called caudate and this lobe is quadrate. We said that in the middle on the quadrate lobe I have the gastroduodenal junction. Above it and below it I have two other structures. Above it there is the lesser omentum and below it there is the transverse colon. All of these are relations, not attachments. Relations. So on the quadrate I have three structures on the sequence. Above, lesser omentum. In the between, gastroduodenal junction, and lastly, the transverse colon. These are arranged on the quadrate lobe, and here is the quadrate lobe. So in the middle, gastroduodenal, above, lesser omentum, below, transverse colon. Okay? Okay. The caudate lobe here is related to many structures. The most important structure that is related posteriorly to the caudate lobe is the stomach. There is a very big artery passing here. No, not the abdomen. The thoracic aorta. Why? Because we said that the liver is like this, is inclined like this. So this area, this posterior area, is very high. And of course the couple of the diaphragm is continuous like this. And the T12 is in a lower position than the caudate lobe. So here is still the thoracic aorta. And when it passes the crura of the diaphragm, it will be changed into the abdominal aorta in a lower position. So the caudate lobe is related to the thoracic aorta, not the abdominal. This is a very important item in the exam. Sometimes he picks the caudate lobe and said, name one structure related. When I say this structure, I will say thoracic aorta, not the abdominal aorta. Although I'm in the abdomen, but the couple of the diaphragm is still bounding the abdominal aorta, the thoracic aorta behind it. And when it passes through the T12 or the crura of the diaphragm, it will be changed into abdominal aorta. Okay? Okay, so this fissure is for ligamentum bironis. This is on the posterior aspect. But on the inferior aspect, I will have the ligamentum teres. More to the right, to the quadrate lobe, I will have the gallbladder. This is the fundus of the gallbladder, and this fundus has surface anatomy on the tip of the ninth costal cartilage, okay, in the transpyloric plane, which is L1. So this is the surface anatomy of the fundus. It is found on the tip of the ninth costal cartilage at the level of the transpyloric plane L1. Okay, this is the surface anatomy of the fundus. And by the way, there is the fundus, body, and the neck. Lastly, I will have the porta hepatis. Not very obvious here. Okay, but it is small here. Okay. When I look at the porta hepatis or the hilum of the liver, the most posterior structure and the most big one is the portal vein, and the most inferior one is the hepatic artery, and in between there is the common bile duct. Here are the three: portal vein, hepatic artery, and the common bile duct, and they are arranged like this. The most posteriorly, portal vein. The most inferiorly, hepatic artery, and in between, common bile duct. Here are the three: portal vein, common bile duct, hepatic artery. Always the common bile duct is in between the two vessels, the portal vein and the hepatic artery. Okay? By the way, if you listen or you hear this name, we said that this is the caudate lobe. The area on the left lobe opposite to the caudate lobe is called tuber omental. This tuber omental is a high point or a protruding point on the left lobe, which is attachment of the lesser omentum. We said that here is a relation to the lesser omentum, while the tuber omental is attachment of the lesser omentum. Okay? So the lesser omentum is set 2 times on the liver. Tuber omental, attachment, while the upper surface or upper part of the quadrate lobe is release. Obvious? Okay? Okay. these are the most important features on the inferior vein of the liver. Okay, always remember the three ligaments, falciform, teres, ligamentum venosum, separating the two anatomical lobes of the liver. Okay, and the three relations, the quadrate, the caudate to the thoracic aorta, and the tuber omental, attachment of the lesser omentum, and the main impression on the posterior and inferior surfaces. Okay, and the surface anatomy of the fundus, of course. Okay, any questions on the liver? Another time? Yeah. Position of the porta hepatis? Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. By the way, the position is like this, right? So this is the most posterior and this is the most anterior. But on the specimen, when I pick a specimen like this, I will say this is the most posterior and this is the most inferior. But of course, in the anatomical position, right, here is the position. So this is posterior, this is anterior. This is right. And the bile duct is in between. Okay? This is right. But I'm saying inferior according to the specimen when I held it as one organ. This posterior, this inferior. While in the cadaver, it's like this. So this posterior, this anterior. Okay, right? Okay, any questions? The gallbladder, what about it? About the parts or the surface anatomy of the parts. It's very important. Okay? In this, here is the fundus, and all of this is the body. Here is that. Okay? Oh yeah? Okay. Here is the better specimen. Here is the portal vein, the biggest one. And here is the hepatic artery, and in between the common vein. Okay? Anything else? Porta hepatis? Okay, here they are. The biggest one, the most posterior, portal vein. The most anterior, hepatic artery. In between, common vein.
Which the fundus of the alveolus?
Here it is. The most inferior part. Okay. Here, there is the body, and here is the neck. Okay.
For the ligament, what question can be asked?
What?
For the ligament, do we have to identify only, or we have to know the other?
No, the ligaments is all identification. Okay. Okay, any more questions, guys? Okay, good luck.
Doctor, the ligament.
Forget. Okay. Never put the specimens behind. Anyway, this is the typical lumbar vertebra, and this is a typical lumbar vertebra. Without any scientific words, what is the difference between these two vertebrae?
The body.
Not the spine, the transverse process. Here the transverse process is narrow and pointed, while in this it is very blunt here, and it's thick and short, right? Because it will articulate with the ala of the sacrum. So this is the L5. We call it the atypical lumbar vertebrae, while the other four lumbar vertebrae we call it the typical lumbar vertebrae. Any vertebrae is divided into a body and a neural arch, and this neural arch is divided into many bones. Between the body and the transverse process there is the pedicle, and between the transverse process and the spine there is the lamina. The pedicle, transverse process, lamina, spine, lamina, transverse process, pedicle is called the neural arch or the vertebral arch. And between the body and the arch there is the neural canal and the spinal canal where the spinal cord is passing. The most important question before anything, the identification, typical lumbar vertebra. This is the identification, typical lumbar vertebra. The most important questions are either the ligaments or the joints. The joints here, when he marks the superior or the inferior surfaces of the body, the structure related is the intervertebral disc. Name of the joint, intervertebral joint. Type of the joint, secondary cartilage. Okay? And then, these two processes are called the superior articular facets, and these two processes are called the inferior articular facets. The superior and the inferior articular facets makes a joint called the facet joint, and the type is plain synovial. Okay, so we have two types of joints: intervertebral joint, secondary cartilage, the facet joints, and they are plain synovial with the superior and the inferior articular facets. Okay, lastly, the ligaments. We have 5 ligaments: 2 on the body, 2 on the spine, and 1 on the lamina. When he marks the anterior aspect of the body, is the anterior longitudinal ligament. And of course, as I have an anterior, I will have a posterior. But by the way, the posterior is not here. The posterior is the posterior aspect of the body. So inside the canal. So here is the anterior and the posterior longitudinal ligaments. If he marks the tip of the spine, this is the supraspinous. And if he marks the lateral aspect or the side of the spine, this is interspinous. Interspinous. While lastly, on the lamina itself, there is the ligamentum flavum. Another time. Anterior longitudinal. Posterior longitudinal. Supraspinous. Interspinous, and lastly on the lamina, ligamentum. Okay, give me a pencil, give me a pen. Don't worry, it's clean. Thank you. Okay, here is the supraspinous, and here is the interspinous on the side, while the ligamentum flavum is here. You can see on the lamina, not on the spine, not on the side of the spine. It's on the lamina, here. Okay, and here is the anterior longitudinal, and here is posterior longitudinal. These are the 5 ligaments. Okay, anterior longitudinal, posterior longitudinal, supraspinous, interspinous, ligamentum flavum. Okay, so we have 2 joints and 5 ligaments, and the identification typical, atypical. This is typical lumbar vertebrae. Obvious, guys? Okay. No. You have only the typical. Sorry. You only have to identify the typical lumbar vertebrae. Okay, 2 joints with 2 types and the 5 ligaments.
Can you show the ligament at this?
Sorry?
Can you show the ligament at this?
Once more. Anterior longitudinal, posterior longitudinal, supraspinous, interspinous, ligamentum flavum.
What is the interspinous?
Supra and inter on the side of the spine, while the ligamentum flavum on the lamina. Okay? Okay. Any more questions?
When did you reach the mandible? The mandible.
What about the mandible?
The skull and mandible.
Yeah, you need to bring a mandible and revise on it. But the most important aspect on the mandible is the insertion of the 4 muscles of mastication. The cornoid process, the lateral and the medial aspect of the ramus, and the tragoid fovea. This is the most important items in the mandible. Sorry? The skull, the origins and the origins of the 4 muscles of mastication. Temporal fossa, the arch, the zygomatic arch, inferior aspect, and the lateral pterygoid plate, either the lateral surface or the medial surface. This is the most important item.
What shall we focus on?
The head and neck, either the lateral or the medial. On the medial aspect, I emphasize the tongue, the palate, and of course the area, the vallicula and the pyrofossa. On the lateral aspect, the salivary gland. Very important. Parotid and submucous. Okay. Okay. Any more questions?
The medullary artery.
What about it?
Do we have to know it, the medullary artery? Do we have to know it? Do we have to know the branches and the...
It is written in the book. You have it on the book?
Ada.
Okay, at least you name the branches. At least the branches. You don't have to study the course and relation, but at least the branches.
Can you show it because we can...
You didn't see it?
No, we didn't see it.
Sorry? Okay. Try to burn this topic. Okay, here it is. Very clear. Here is the axillary artery. Here it is. See it?
The cautious one?
This one. Moving horizontally. This is the maxillary artery. Okay? Very obvious here. Here it is. Moving horizontally in the infratemporal. Hyoglossus
Axillary artery.
Sometimes. Sometimes. Here is the submandibular cerebral gland. I will elevate it. This muscle below is the hypoglossus, and here is the nerve on it, hypoglossal.
Where's the
Hypoglossus
hypoglossal?
muscle and the hypoglossal. Okay.
So can you repeat?
This is submandibular salivary gland. I elevate it. I will find a muscle and a nerve on it.
Oh.
The muscle is the hypoglossus and the nerve is the hypoglossal. Okay.
What about the anterior belly of
Digastric.
digastric?
Here it is. Okay. Here is the anterior. Sometimes. Always focus on the skull, on the origin, on the full muscle domestication. And the mandible is very simple.
Betul juga. Tak nampak pun.
On the bone, we will count the origin and insertion. Exactly.
The part of the.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.